Welcome, everyone, to the Montgomery Motor Speedway webcast. And we've got a couple of special guests with us this evening. Pretty excited to have my race director, Nicholas Rogers, with us. Nicholas, how you doing today?
Good, Stan. How are you?
Just fantastic. After coming off a big weekend, really happy with the car count, happy with the racing, happy with the crowd. I mean, the only thing I wasn't happy is I didn't get a steak sandwich from the concession stand. So I'm still kind of thinking about that. But other than that, everything else, I was pretty satisfied Saturday night.
Very, very good weekend all around. Both with you and at Tim's on Friday night. Truly a great weekend for pro late model racing in the Southeast.
It really was. Actually had about 4 or 5 cars that I thought were going to be here. I don't want to say I'm glad they didn't come, but that would have been one heck of a night. It already was. It was interesting. It was great racing, good side-by-side stuff. Couple of big wrecks. If fans come to see wrecks, they sure didn't want to miss those. Ryan Paul riding the fence down the backstretch. He actually clipped the top of that yellow pole. One thing I'd like to say, I'm so thankful for the way this racetrack is built with its offset walls. That could have been a situation where
Margaret.
that could have been a situation had that wall not been offset. It would have caught him at the fence, and so knowing that the racetrack is built like it is really makes for a I think it really saved what could have been a major injury or really could have torn up that car even more.
I agree. And I mean, it's looking at the marks on the wall where the car went up the wall and then where the left rear tire actually made contact with the wall and the car still rising. That was a very impressive wreck. I'm very glad for the outcome, that there was no major injury or anything, or, I don't know how bad the cars tore up. But I mean, it could have been way worse. Thankfully, it kind of everything played into his favor. And I didn't know he had got into the pole up there, but that was my biggest worry, was knowing where that pole was located. Had it have went any farther backwards, it would have got directly into that pole.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, I mean, I was thankful for the way the safety crew responded. Had good response out of them to get to both drivers and check on them. And that's the biggest thing is you're going to have accidents in this sport. We just got to be prepared for the response and to be able to take care of them when something does happen.
Absolutely. And I thought our crews did a great job, really good job on cleanup. A couple of them took a little longer than I wanted, but, sometimes that synthetic oil it was tough out there, and we sure didn't want to go back and not have a good racing surface. I thought the side-by-side racing for the lead was pretty impressive. You get a couple of young guys up there. Christopher Tullis had some great restarts. The 35 of Jake Garcia really gave him a run for his money. I don't know. It seemed like had it not gone to a couple of those quick cautions that Garcia may have been able to get him. But that was some great battles up front.
It really was. And you had your normal guy that got out there and wanted to lead the majority of the event, kind of get out there and run from them. And usually, you'll have the guys that'll sit back and save their stuff till 25 to go. And then they kind of just catch them and will usually get around them fairly quickly if they've done a good job of saving. We had that, but the guy that got out front, because of the way the cautions fell and getting a chance to cycle and cool the tires, he got to stay up there and actually put it on them in the end. And I mean, it was nice to see, because you had 2 complete different trains of thought, 2 different race strategies play out at the end to make for a really great finish.
Yeah. And so, I'm just happy to have that one in the books. And, we had a good street stock race. J.C. Kleckler got out, stretched his legs a little bit, ended up Charles Davis got the win, Kleckler in second, Daniels in third. So Daniel Jacks, I mean. And so, that division, we expect to see more cars showing up for the next race. And then, of course, we had our Pro 4 race. I really didn't get a chance to see that, but after looking at the way things shook up, seeing that Jeremy Davis was on the pole, and then I guess from my race report, he didn't get a whole lot into the race, and Eddie Dodd brings home his second win of the season in the Pro 4s.
Yeah, it was decent racing. I really hope that car count can get up a little bit because, there's some haves and have-nots in that division. Some that are still trying to learn and build their program. We need, another 4 or 5 cars to really get that division to where it's got a good competitive feel throughout the entire event. And I think hopefully they'll get us there quickly. The street stock race was a good event. Would like to note for anybody of curiosity, Charles Davis had a pretty thorough inspection post-race, compliments of Ricky Brooks, and no issues found. So, he's just dominating, guys. Best thing I can tell you is do your homework and come on back and get you some more. JC got up on the wheel and definitely closed that gap some, and I think you'll see that, coming on down the road.
Oh, yeah, with setting fast time and everything else. That's a beautiful car that JC built. And,
it is.
It's great to see it out there. And, we're working on some other things. Late Model Sportsman coming up in 2 weeks for a 50-lapper along with the Modifieds of Mayhem and another street stock race. Pretty excited about that. Unfortunately, kids, we're not going to be able to do the big wheel race for that event, but we are going to do some giveaways for Dad. I'm going to go out and find me a flat screen TV, and we're going to give that away so Dad has something for the man cave.
That'd be kind of nice.
Yeah. Don't put your name in the hat.
Maybe we need to throw in a case of beer with it or something too, so you got something to drink while he's watching it.
You know what? I'm willing to do that. As long as
make it a good Father's Day.
Yeah, as long as the dad's over 21.
Right. That's right.
Okay. Well, I think that's really about it. I did want to just mention, because obviously you're both Five Flags and here, we have another doubleheader coming up with the Modifieds of Mayhem, or we have a doubleheader coming up for the Modifieds of Mayhem. Think that'll be pretty exciting. Got some northern cars coming down, and a lot of the Texas cars are coming over, giving them a chance to race 2 times in a weekend. So, 2 different racetracks with here and Five Flags, but those Modifieds really put on a show. They love that track down in Five Flags.
They do, and it's 2 different types of racing between each track because both of them have a little different, feel that they have to have for those cars and a little different race strategy they have to have for them, honestly. The 50 laps between the 2 of them, I think, will be better racing than the 75 has been. Me and Stan kind of at odds over the race length on them, but for those of y'all that are wondering, the schedule should be out. I know, Stan, you should have another schedule out maybe tomorrow. What you think on that?
Yeah.
Tim's will probably go at the same time tomorrow for Friday night. We will have a Thursday practice at Pensacola. Stan's not having one because of us racing here on Friday night. But there will be an optional Thursday practice here, but the schedule should go out for both events tomorrow at some point.
And I do want to point out to the modified guys, they've asked. We did break up their practice. We gave them 2 30-minute rounds. And I think that's great. Some of these teams, they don't come in with a big crowd of folks. So a lot of them want to have an opportunity to test the car and then be able to make some adjustments before they go back out. So want to thank you for writing the schedule that way. I know the modified guys really appreciate it.
They will. I couldn't do it for Pensacola. And the main reason I can't do it for Pensacola is with us being a Friday night crowd, our local divisions don't come in until later in the day, and it just doesn't give time to be able to do it and separate it out. I'm going to work with them and try to get them started maybe a little bit earlier, run a little bit late, so basically they can take a short break in between, and still have a full hour with maybe a few minutes of downtime in between to clear gates and stretch that out a little bit. But it's hard to get a 15 or 30-minute break in between their sessions and still be able to get everything done. And facilitate the local divisions here as well.
Right.
So
absolutely. Well, just work with us, guys, and we'll put on a great event for the fans and hopefully a good time for all of our racers. Nicholas, I want to thank you for everything you do here. I know sometimes things get a little bit crazy on Saturday nights, and I'm beating on your back up in the tower, but appreciate what you and Jennifer and all your team does here at Montgomery Motor Speedway.
Well, we appreciate everything you do. You put on a great facility up there, and I think the car count and the crowd Saturday night proves, that what you're doing up there is working, and you've got you a great facility and a great program going up there. And I'm just glad to be a small part of it. I want to give a shout out to all the guys up there, our safety crew, our tech crews, everybody, in the heat this weekend done a phenomenal job. You can't ask for much more out of guys that are out there for not a lot of money. Ain't nobody getting rich in this, and they worked their butt off in the heat and enjoyed it and really had no issues all day, and I want to thank them as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Thanks a lot. All right. Well, let's have a great day. We'll see you at the modified of Mayhem race week from Friday, and then back here Saturday night. Go fast, turn left, brother.
That's right. Thank you, Sam. Have a good day.
Okay, man. Thank you. All right, we're back with Christopher Tullis, the winner from the Midsummer Classic 100 this weekend. And man, I gotta say, you put on one heck of a show, Christopher. I've known you for an awfully long time. I've been watching you race for years, and I was pretty impressed. I'm not supposed to get excited about somebody getting a win, but I was pretty excited about you getting that win.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. We definitely had a magical night Saturday night, no doubt. I mean, like you said, me and you've known each other a pretty long time, and I've been coming over there and racing, probably 4 or 5 years, however long it's been now. And I knew years ago I felt like we were close to winning the race, and I never imagined after things of the past that I would come back there and have a race like I did and win in that sort of fashion. It was cool for a small country boy like me, for sure. So.
Well, you and Jake put on a heck of a show up there. It was a very entertaining race for the fans. I want to ask you a question about the outside line, because your restarts, you took the outside almost every time. Just tell me about that philosophy, that strategy. How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we had that. Like I said, I started 4th on the initial start there, so I already knew that our car liked the outside line. And then we had that first restart there with Davidson to our inside, and I got a really good launch off the top, and then rolled the top and got around them and took the lead. So I mean, that definitely solidified it there. I mean, it was just one of those deals. I've always, I guess, just not at Montgomery or anywhere, I've always enjoyed the top. I always feel like, especially in a pro late model car, it's a lot easier to keep your momentum up on the top side and get wound up and get going. So, and for years I've watched people like Augie and Casey, and I mean, just really work the top. And it kind of, I've learned that if you got a car that can sit there and run the top like that, it's going to be very hard to get around you. And I think we kind of showed that Saturday night for sure.
Oh, I definitely think you did. You guys, like you said, you got to the point. And one of the things I like about where we've got, a lot of people don't like where we've got our box, but it is what it is. But the neat thing I like is your front 3 or 4 cars are facing down the track. You're not halfway in the corner, you're not jumping sideways, and you just had some great launches there, and just hanging tough in that high line. Like you said, you've seen Augie do it. You've seen other drivers come here and run that line, and it's it's pretty, obviously it was very successful for you. And, was this, now I'll be honest, I haven't kept up with you this year. Was this your first or your second race of the year? Didn't you race at Cordele?
Yeah, I raced Speedfest in January, and then, we came over and ran the 200, where I felt like we had some pretty good success. I don't know if we had a tire swing bad there on us at the end, but we were leading that thing. I think it had to be around 50 to go or something like that. And I thought we had a good shot then. And then of course the whole everybody was kind of sitting at home, not having a lot to do. And Pensacola posted their schedule where they decided to race June the 5th. I guess it was their revised schedule. I don't think that was the original date planned for that race. And I decided that I was tired of sitting at the house. We needed to go do something. So I was going to go run down there, even with all my bad luck I've had down there too. And we had a pretty good night there. And I actually saw where I think Montgomery, the track, posted on their Facebook they were going to run a race the next day. And I told my dad, I said, we run decent at Pensacola and don't tear anything up and can have a pretty good night down there. I mean, we got to drive right back through Montgomery to get home. I said, we got to just at least stop and, try our luck there. I mean, 2 decent top 5 finishes, money kind of, we wouldn't necessarily make no money or even break even, but the loss wouldn't be so bad. So, I mean, definitely, I'm glad we decided to do it, of course, with the result and all. So, I mean, like I said, it was a fun weekend running those double headers. I had never got to do that before in my career. I've watched the supercars do it and always dreamed of doing it. I mean, for us drivers, that's a lot of fun, to get the buckle in Friday night and give it all you got, and get
Yeah, and then
a
and then
couple
come back on
hours of
set.
sleep, drive up the road, and do it again.
Well, it sounded we're having a little bit of a connection issue, but definitely, that was something Tim and I weren't sure. We weren't sure how the pro late model guys would like the doubleheader, but overall, everybody seemed to like it, and we liked it. Great car count here. Tim didn't have quite the car count he was expecting, but like he said, he had a good, clean race. It was good to get it in the books. 19 or 20 cars is a full field at a lot of these tracks. And I think that people race a little bit differently. And you can tell me, you were down there, but I think they race a little differently when they know they've got to go somewhere Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, the mindset's definitely a little bit different. I mean, it's one of those deals, you got plans made. You've had, I mean, just for instance, I mean, take me, I had 3 guys that were not part of my family come and help us this weekend. I told them the plan is race Friday night, race Saturday night. Well, if we wadded up on Friday night, if they canceled plans or had something they had to move just so they could be with us Saturday, it kind of puts me on the bad end of realizing that, they moved their plans and now we ain't got nothing to do. I kind of stumped that up for them. So, I mean, definitely a different mindset for sure. I mean, because if you don't have a car, you ain't gonna run Saturday night. It don't matter how many parts you bring. I mean, sometimes it's not even worth fixing it to try to run again the next night. So,
Right.
I mean, for it to be Pensacola Friday night, it was definitely, I was expecting a little bit more, just because Pensacola is a tight, fast racetrack and you really got to be on it. You're gonna have a lot of trouble at Pensacola. I mean, everybody's seen how the snowflake gets run, how us guys in the pro late models drive. I mean, there tends to be a good number of wrecks there. For that race to go as green as it did, I mean, I wouldn't say I was shocked, but I was definitely surprised.
Yeah. Well, it was good to see. It shows that the guys can race together, just like the first 75 laps here. We saw some great racing. We saw some people being smart. We had a few incidences as we got in those last 25, but I thought it was great, and just shows the strength of pro late model racing in the Southeast and the quality of young racers that we have. And I want to thank you again for the show that you put on. And why don't you tell us, now I've known you a while, but let's be honest, I've spent a lot of time with your dad over the years. He's probably the first person that I gave a hug to since this whole COVID thing came on. I couldn't resist myself, and he was just so happy to meet you there in Victory Lane.
Yeah, I mean, that was a cool moment. I mean, me and my dad, I mean, he's made my racing career what it is. I mean, from starting me at so young and helping me just fall in love with the sport of racing. I know he loves it just as much as I do. And I mean, like I said, we've been side by side through it the whole time. And without him, I mean, absolutely none of it would be possible. I mean, like I said, he gives me all the fuel I got to do what I do. And so to see him at the window Saturday night, first one there, I think, I mean, as bad as this, I think he was even a little more happy about it than I was. So, I mean, like I said, he sacrifices a lot for us to do what we do. So I wanted to win that one as bad for him and the rest of my family, my brother, my mom, my sister. I wanted to win it for them just as bad as I wanted to win it for me. So,
well, they're in it with you. That's for sure. You can see it when they come to the track, and I know the dedication that your brother and your dad put into your program is pretty impressive. You guys don't roll in here with a giant 18-wheeler and 5 tire techs and a carburetor guy or anything. So it's kind of neat to see the smaller guys, get the wins and just prove that hard work can win in this business. And once again, just really, really proud of you and proud that you got the W here at Montgomery Motor Speedway.
Yeah, like I said, I appreciate it. I mean, for all the promoters I've raced with, I mean, you're definitely the favorite on the top of the list. I was glad that we were able to seal that deal at your racetrack. And like I said, you put on a heck of a show every time we come. I enjoy coming over there. I enjoy racing with you. I mean, like I said, definitely one of my favorite places to be, and definitely a special, special deal to have that first win happen there. So
yeah, it was pretty neat. Now let's just finish up with who else gets you to the racetrack.
Yeah, I work for Alex Roberts and Gene Roberts down at A-Rod Performance. They definitely helped me out a lot. I mean, just like Gene built the carburetor that was on the car Saturday night, and I mean, Alex comes to the racetrack with me every time I go. I mean, just advice, letting me have days off, something like that. I mean, like I took Thursday and Friday off to go race in Pensacola. I mean, I think a lot of other places, where you work full time or something like that, you sit there and you tell your boss, hey, I got to have the next 2 days off to go racing. They kind of look at you and kind of laugh like, well, that's great. That probably ain't going to happen. But, I mean, it's me and Alex and Gene, of course, all have a really, really good relationship. And they definitely have helped get me to where I am today. And I'm thankful to work for them and for all they do for me. So they're a big part of it. The Chansey family, Jim and Phyllis, they have helped us out. I mean, more than I could ever have asked. I mean, just from helping us out when buying the first ever true late model car I had. It was our first Hampton car we had years and years ago that we started racing there. And then, I mean, just helping us out along the way, whether it be financial. I mean, they still come to every race I go to and support me. And that was another reason Saturday night was so special, or they were right there with me in victory lane. And like I said, I've known them and their relationship, and I mean, amazing. And I couldn't be more thankful for them. They definitely helped me a lot. And my dad, especially my brother, me and my brother put in a lot of long, hard hours at the shop after we both get off work. I mean, I know he's probably got a lot of other things he could be wanting to be doing, and for him to be down there right next to me, it means a lot. So, I mean, he's helped us out financially as well. I mean, like I said, there's a bunch of people that go into it and help me get to the racetrack. Those are the big ones right there. So I couldn't be more appreciative for the position I'm in. I tell everybody I'm the one that gets to have the most fun and just drive the thing. I mean, so I know they work their butts off for me to go do what I enjoy and do what I love. So I'm glad that we could all seal that deal Saturday night and everybody could be there. And it was, like I said, just special.
Well, the last thing I want to ask you about, you ran the 24 before. Now you're in the 12. Is it just a lighter number? I mean, what, you just wanted to go half as much, twice as fast? What's the deal?
Yeah, I was 12 on a lot of my quarter midgets and stuff when I was younger. That's the number I first started with, was 12, because way back in the day when I was young watching the NASCAR stuff, I was a Ryan Newman fan.
Yeah.
And so the 12 kind of stuck with me there. And then the older I got, the more I would pull for Jeff Gordon at the racetrack and stuff. So that's where the 24 came from. Always just dreaming to be him and do what he's done. And so 24 meant a lot to me there. And, over these past 4 or 5 years in the late model stuff, I felt like we've had a lot of bad luck with 24 on the side of our car. So I'm not a bad juju type of guy, or at least I try not to be, but I'm always open for something as far as, well, let's change it and see what happens. So, I mean, Here we are 5 races into having 12 on the side of the car, and, we were able to park it in victory lane. So I guess it goes without saying that 12 will definitely be here to stay. I don't plan on going back to 24 anytime soon. So,
well, very good.
That's the story behind it.
Okay, well, great. Well, once again, I want to thank you for being on with us today. We like to do these things. We're just kind of getting into. I'm no better with technology than you are, so hopefully this thing will come out right. But impressed again to see the show that you guys put on. Thank you so much for what you and your family do, and all the pro late model drivers out there. And we'll see you. I guess we'll see you August 1st for the Saturday of Speed. You're sitting right there in 3rd place, so you're going to have to come and get yourself a championship ring.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now that I definitely have some really, really good notes to go take off the car, I definitely plan on being back as soon as we can be back there. And I appreciate you having me on, and I really appreciate everything you do for short track racing. I mean, there's not very many people that do what you do to put on the type of shows you do. So I think it goes without saying that racing needs more people like you. So like I said, just appreciate you giving us a great place to race, to put on a show like we did Saturday night.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And you be careful. Glad to hear that you voted today. Good job. Let's all be sure that we vote. Wash your hands, stay out of trouble, and let's go fast and turn left.